Hello everyone, this is Leah from All Things Cards. Today I'm going to put together two cards that I cut out a while back. There's a video which I will have a link to for when I cut up my gorgeous patterned papers. Now today these are mostly the supplies. If I need anything else I will go get them. So let me just move things to the side so that I can work. And let's get started. I'm using today my Colorbox Archival Die Wicked Black with a finger dauber. I'll just move that to the side as well. I've cut out two different sized happy birthdays, pre-cut with my die cuts. Move those to the side. Now, I'm doing two different cards. If you watched the other video, you'll remember that I had a piece of white paper and a piece of blue paper that matched. They're identical. If you can see, there's a camera tripod there. So they're identical pieces of paper. What I did was when I cut them, is I put them in through the die machine together with all their pieces still attached, and put it through the die machine together and cut out, voila, a center triangle. Now, these still have to be cut down a bit because when I cut these, originally I cut them to 4 inches by 6 inches just for speed. Of course, at the moment, I can't quite remember how I got it down to the right size, but we will work on that too. So we have to cut these down to card size. Let's see here, what was it? I know what it is in the end, but how did I get there? Currently this is 6 inches. I want this to be... Do you ever do that? You try to remember what a card size is and your mind just goes blank? Now, somewhere in the avalanche that I've got here, I managed to clear away a spot. But somewhere in this avalanche is a little laminated piece of paper with my information I want. Okay, so let's think. We want a card that's... No, I don't remember now. Great. So I want a piece that's what? 5 inches by... Oh my goodness. Change of plan. Here's a finished card. As you can see, they're all finished. Let's measure those. Let's just find out how big these are because my mind just cannot work right at the moment and I can't find my piece of paper. That says it's nearly 5 inches by nearly 3 3/4 inch. So that's what I'm trying to aim for. 5, 3 3/4. Now this is 6, so we want to make it 5.5 first. So we're taking off an inch. So now we can measure it to 5. Move that a little bit there. Okay, so let's take the other one. Move it to 5.5. Why do they make cutters? Why do they make these guillotine things not the width of a standard A2 card or a piece of paper? They made it the width of a standard A2 card over here, but that doesn't help you. And there's no measurements past 4.75. Who are they making these things for? Aren't they making them for card makers? I really just don't get it. Okay, so this one started at 4 inches, so I'm going to move it in between the 3 3/4 and the 4 inch and to bring it down to 3.75. I know, it's really hard to see 3 3/4. I'm Canadian. We don't deal with inches anymore, too bad. But it makes it really hard when you're trying to talk about them because we're all used to decimals. Did you know that when I was in elementary school, they changed in Canada from imperial to the metric system? And the elementary school I was going to, the principal and the grade 6, 7 teacher, because I had him for 2 years, so I don't know what year it was, horrible man, they decided that they were not going to teach us the metric system because I believe they didn't think it was going to last. So they stayed with imperial. So when I went from my elementary school in grades 6 and 7 to my junior high in grade 8, I had no idea what they were talking about when it came to measurements, and I'm still kind of somewhere floating around in the middle, struggling to survive in both worlds. Okay, so for these cards I decided to go, because I have a light and a dark piece of paper, I went with contrasting backgrounds. So I went with a gray and a white. It's kind of like an off-white, because this is an off-white, so it's just a little bit not pure. What is this? This looks like a piece of paper that's white. I don't know if you can see the difference on the camera. So I did that, and then I was trying to struggle with what to go behind it. So I went with this one here is from Michaels. It's, I don't think it's the gold, I think it's the champagne one. And to coordinate with that lovely off-whitish and the gray. So I did like the champagne. I get the package, I take it to my local big box office store. Ours is Staples. I get them to cut it into quarters. And as long as I keep the package in its paper in its packaging, they charge me about $5, up to $6 Canadian, to make those 2 cuts into the paper. And when they do that, I end up with card fronts. And I didn't have to cut them. I didn't have to worry about my blades. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to drop it off and pick it up and pay for it. And this one I'm using, it's like a gray, brownie, crafty piece of paper. It's one of the Michaels packages, again, that are like $6 for multiple colors. And I think this one is the lightweight, like 65 pound. And it was the Seaside one. It's the one that has the blues, and this is what I guess what they're saying is the sand color one. So I got those cut as well. And for these guys, when you're dealing with your card base, these card bases, I take my 8.5 by 11, 110 pound from Michaels heavy duty cardboard paper. I take it to Staples, and I ask them to cut it in half. And for that one cut, I mean, I pay like $5 or $6, and I got about a stack, like this, stack of papers cut all in half. I did like a little bit of them lengthwise like this, because I prefer to have my cards going that way. I don't like top folding cards because they just slide and open. But I got all of those done for, again, like $5 or $6. And inside these, I use that shimmer paper that Michaels has that has that little bit of a gold thing. And I'll cut that, and that goes in there. I think that it's really nice to write on and stamp on when you're doing sentiments and you're not expecting as pristine a thing, but it really holds the ink well, these shiny papers from Michaels. As long as you don't move when you're stamping it, use a stamping platform for those. So let's get started. Sorry it took so long to get here. And here we are. Okay. You've heard me mention before, I like to have lots of adhesive on the backs because I've had cards fall apart at craft fairs. And I think that's enough said about that. Just a little bit of that. Lesson to self. Do not use dollar store tape when you're dealing with cards that are going to be given away. If you're making something for yourself and you really don't care, go for it. But if you're going to give this card or sell the card, then you really want something of some quality. Oh, I can't line this up. But anyways. Okay. Normally I would punch this out. I probably did the other guys. I'll do the next one. The next one is not important because it's just some kind of gray paper. But I do have on my desk a Stampin' Up! Starburst thing? I don't know what it is. It cuts the zigzaggies. That's all I can remember. And when I'm dealing with these pieces of paper that go in the background that nobody can see, I'll take it and I'll line it up against the edge here. Pop it. Turn it over. Line it up against the edge. Pop it. Away we go. So that gives me my background, because nobody's going to see it but the edge. And it gives me 2 of these, which I can add to all kinds of, I have a multiple of uses for them. I can add them to something that's already stamp. I get that something ready to go. And it just gives it a little background for popping up on cards. So I have a little supply of them over here. Forgot to do it with this pretty gold champagne. It would have been pretty. Anyways, let's keep going. Try not to get distracted here. Oh, I forgot to show you that I was also going to use some foam tape to stand this up on the little middle part on the front of the card. Now when it comes to, what did I say? What was this? I forgot to put some of this on there, so I'll just stick some there. Foam tape. There's good quality, and then there's dollar store quality. And then there's cheap quality. I really like some of the dollar store ones, because they're local, quick, cheap. And there you go, that's why we go to a dollar store, isn't it? And then there are some that are just really bad. And I find that there's some that are just so weird. If you wanted to, you could punch something small out of this. I've got a lot of these little small things, so I just don't have any need for it at the moment. Remember, I pre-cut all of these before I started the video. I pre-cut them months ago, but here we are. I said I'd make a video, let's make a video. Dollar store. Foam tape. So there's one company, I don't know what it is about their foam tape, but it's terrible. It sticks to your scissors like nothing. It's just awful. I think this is the company here. I don't even know what this company is, but I thought I had gotten some other ones that wasn't it. It's like really squishy, and it feels gross, okay? Not saying that my cards are gross, but this feels gross. Now these are the Tim Holtz, come on now, non-stick Teflon type scissors. Now, let's see, look, it's really soft. It's almost melty like butter. But it works, but it's okay, so how things feel is really important to me. And then I get down to the end. Now you're going to just cut off the edge, right? But it just kind of, these are non-stick, right? And it's got like kind of a coat. I have to clean these with rubbing alcohol on a cotton swab. It's just, well, my husband does. But still, it's awful. And if you're doing huge projects and you're just going and going and going, your scissors just get coated. It's just gross. Oof. Anyways, I do apologize for using gross. Oh, and it sticks to you too, really bad. Oh, see? Look at that. Oh, it's awful. Ugh. But my really good stuff is getting down near its end, so until that gets replaced, we're using this stuff. I use what you got. I mean, it sticks well, and I do end up putting a little bit of glue on here just to give it, in case I can't quite center this, I will have a little bit of wiggle room. Is there a little hole there? Yeah. It's still stuck partly to my finger. Both my fingers, both. I don't know what it is with that company. I was doing really well buying these big things from the dollar store. Oh goodness. And then all of a sudden they just changed to this brand. Blah, but I really, really hate, I'm sorry, my hands are very sensitive and I don't like disgusting things stuck to them. I don't like anything stuck. I don't like sticky hands. I like very clean hands. Which is really hard when you're working with ink all the time, isn't it? Okay, so do I need to lift this up? I'll do like a Gina K and I'll tilt it so I can see it. And you could still see it and my head's not in the way. So professional. Now this paper has grid lines. I don't know if you can see it. It's got grid lines on it. So I remembered that I could use that little line to line this up and get this on there nice and straight. Yay. Okay, so that's done. Whew. Okay, now with the dark blue one, I went with the very big Happy Birthday. I took my Tombow Mono and I put them in these little jars. It took forever to get some more little jars ordered from on Amazon because all these little bottles that say they're needle nose, which means it looks like a needle and comes out with a very tiny, tiny tip that a needle fits in. People who are on Amazon, that's what that means. Anyways, they have these needle nose bottles, and they all come with these plastic things. They don't have the metal. I ordered 3 times to try to get the ones that worked. Because I had bought these, or I'd gotten these given to me when I first started crafting, and I needed some more. They were so hard to figure out how to order because nobody is accurate in their descriptions on these Amazon bottles. Hey, if I remember, I will put a link to the ones that I got. I won't put a link to the really bad ones. They're ridiculous. So I just continue to put little dots. I know people have all different ways of gluing, and I've tried them. They don't make me a happy camper, so I've gone back to what works for me, and you don't have to feel bad if this doesn't work for you. Go with one of the other techniques. But I don't like having glue on my hands. I don't like glue everywhere. So this is what works. It's tedious, yes. But if you're making a video, you can talk to your audience. That's not too bad today. I have a feeling I was telling you about something earlier and I've forgotten completely where it was. I apologize. I'm one of those people that kind of jumps all over the place, conversation-wise, which my sons don't like because they are very focused when they have conversations. And if I see something shiny off to the side, I'm like, oh, isn't that pretty? Look at that. I really do feel like that's served me well, except with my kids. Okay. I've lost my tweezers amongst the avalanche on my desk. So I'll put that down as best I can. Now I have these little squares that I cut. Just a little hack. I took some of those Betty Crocker baking sheet, silicone baking sheets that we get from the dollar store. She has them in the package of 10, I think, for $1. And I cut them up into little squares. And I will put it down on top of my glued item and just flatten it. Because if I don't, especially on the silver paper, the glue comes out, sticks my hand, I drag it across the whole top of this card. Now, I've shown before in a video that I have mats underneath here to help stop this from sticking, so I'm just going to put that under there and let that sit until we finish the next card. Okay, here we go. Come on, people. We can do this. Now, there we go. Just because I keep forgetting to put on my little bits, I'm just going to get it done right quick. I'm trying not to stick anything to anything else while it's out there sitting sticky on my desk. Okay. Let's get this put together. Now this can be used with Christmas papers. It doesn't have to be just any, I mean, it can be any kind of paper. And what I like is I look at those Michaels packs that are like, why am I saying like so much? I do not have a clue. Take them on. It's going to be concentrating on that now. Concentrating on not saying like. Buy those paper packs from Michaels that are in Canada. $12 for 40 pieces of paper, and inside them they have duplicate sheets of paper, and they have patterns that are exactly the same like this, but are just in a different shade of color, and they're usually complementary colors. And then you can take it and you can make cards like this. Now the one that I did, oh goodness, I had that stuck to it. The one that I did last year for Christmas, it was just beige heavy cardstock from Michaels and craft paper from Michaels. And I embossed, and that's what I did, was I used the embossing folders and then cut them in the center. And I will provide a picture of those here. And they were really, really pretty. And they got me thinking about my pattern papers, and especially the ones that match, like these two do. Yeah, I remember what I'm doing with this now. So You can take any of the papers that you get in these sets and you can just go crazy with them as long as they line up perfectly with the pattern. It makes it a very unique card. It's not like just taking another piece of paper and sticking it in the middle. It's taking something that looks exactly the same as what you've got. Oh, that tape just came off on that. I really don't like that stuff. That glue on there gives me a little bit of wiggle room. I just push down where the tape is when I've got it all set up, and then away we go. Oh, I've got to touch that stuff again. Where'd it go? I don't know where I put it. Isn't that what you do? You have it in your hand, you look away, and it disappears. I just really don't want to touch this. But anyways, here we are. I can do this. I don't want to, but I can. Yeah. Gross. It really feels gross. It's not like the Scotch brand that's nice and solid and lovely. This feels gross. I'm sorry. It's not why you tuned in. Look at it. There, again. Stuck to my finger and peeled it off. Why do they even make this? I mean, there's got to be some kind of a use for this in life, right? Because it's definitely not for crafting. And the joy of it is I've got, where'd it go? I've got a huge roll of it. I've got like 3 of these now. Torturing myself for a while, I'm sure. Unless I misplace them amongst the avalanche. Then I'll have to get some more. And this time, no going cheap. It's really awful. Okay. Make sure you keep track of which is up and down when you're doing this, because it's not just any piece of paper. It's a matchy-matchy situation. Again, I'm looking for my lines to figure out where to line this up, because I happen to have that benefit of that. Oh, I forgot to put glue on this. Oh, yuck. It sticks to my glue. Oh, what a noise. That was almost like fingernails on a chalkboard for me. Now, lining up my little globe and my clock. Nothing else is working. Make sure. Oh, goodness. Peel it off. Emergency. It was just down a little bit on that side. So we're going to have to really do these line things. Okay, here we go. Here's our start. Here's our finish. Oh, it's so hard when you can't put your head over it. I know, but anyway. Okay, so there's that. Now this happy birthday was disappearing on that. I wonder if you can see the fact that it just kind of blends in the background. It's not as visible as I would like it to be. And in comes the black ink. I've been doing, when I was doing my video editing lately, I was putting shadows in behind white font so that it could be seen more easily. I've got that lid on it now. Seen more easily through the camera. And so I thought, well, it just needs a little bit of a dark background. It just needs a shadow. So I don't have a die cut that cuts the shadow, and I'm not going to do anything like that. That'd be a lot of work. So I just kind of know that it has to come down here. And it has to kind of go up there. Over here it goes up there. And down here. I'm putting it on an angle because I think it's fun that way. More fun. And then down there. So let's go with that area. Now I had a scrap piece of something over here I was dabbing off on. Yeah, so let's just, and then just get rid of that little fuzzy, those little dotty looks, because that's where you can tell that it's really got something underneath here that you're using a dauber. So it's kind of dark. But I want it to shine. I want it to stand out. So we are graphics editing here. Adding an effect, a shadow effect. How much of a blur do we want? How big should this be? What's the opacity? Simple, wasn't it? I didn't have to buy anything. I didn't have to make anything. I just had to pull two things out. Now, let's glue this again. More tedious glue. What? That's what I have to do for my abilities. It's sanity. So, I went into grade 8, not knowing the metric system. Thank you very much, Mr. Simmons and Mr. Copeland. My elementary school. It was helpful. Really appreciate that. So, lesson. Well, I don't know about this math nowadays, but back then, I wish they'd had the ability to see that this was not just something that you could rebel against. So when I say 3 3/4, for me, I tend to rate it as 3.75. All the Americans are giving their little measurements over, and I'm like, what is that? Quick, convert in your head. When you get to those 8ths and 16ths, it's like, oh my goodness. I can read a ruler, but I really have to do some kind of conversion in my head for that. But then when they say it in centimeters, I'm like, I have no idea what that is either. I have to convert that. Okay, so we're just remembering where we had laid it out. Here we go. Grab myself another little piece of silicone paper. Stuff is very slippery. Nothing sticks to it, self included. Now let's just take that. Put this under here for a moment. Now, prior to starting this video, I had stuck on a couple of other happy birthdays and stuck them underneath. Let's see how they're doing. Okay. Absolutely smooth, nothing on there. My video is going to end in 1 minute, 18 seconds. So here we go. This is what it's going to look like. Put my name on the back. Always do that. Here's another one with the little shadow. If you enjoyed the video today, won't you consider subscribing? Would you please give us a thumbs up, because, oh my goodness, they just make me so happy. And visit us on Facebook at All Things Cards and show us what you're working on. We'd love to see what you're working on. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been a real pleasure putting these cards together, finally. Got a few more to do. And showing you what to do with your pretty pattern paper. May God richly bless you. And thank you again for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye. And thank you again for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Well, it's just going to end anyways, because I can't find the off button. Oh well. No off button? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and my camera.